So hi creepy friends, and welcome back, or welcome to my channel. Today I'm not talking about horror books, I am talking about a sci-fi book, and it is something that I'm really excited to delve into. So I've been wanting to read a little bit more sci-fi over the last couple of years, and I have done that, but I'm trying to expand a little bit more, and there is a new movie coming out this year that I am so intrigued to see. I guess from the title of this, you already know what that book is, but I will be reading Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir ahead of its theatrical release as a new movie, and I'm so excited because the trailer looked incredible. Everybody is loving this book. Like, no matter where I go, if somebody has read this, they say it's like the best book they've ever read, and I cannot wait to read this book because I would love for this to be a new favourite sci-fi story. Project Hail Mary is a story set in space about a man who wakes up from a coma and all of his shipmates are dead and he has no idea who he is. He's trying to figure out who he is, where he comes from, why he's there, and yeah, it's that journey in space, and I'm so intrigued to read this book. I only have 7 days to read this. Super chunky. So yeah, I guess let's get started. And in the comments down below, let me know if you read this. Did you enjoy it? I would love to know your thoughts. Oh my god, this book, wow, I'm so impressed so far. So currently I am halfway through this story and I am really hooked. The whole explanation of like why he is where he is and the discussions of certain spacey things, you know, the sciencey parts, have been really interesting. For me, I am so obsessed with space, like the stars, astronomy. I just love everything about space. For me, I also really enjoy watching movies about space, and I really am enjoying the whole atmosphere, no pun intended, of this book and how it makes you feel claustrophobic whilst being up in this spaceship, this thing where he doesn't really know what's going on and you're really learning along with him. It's so intriguing and I am really enjoying how it's been written. It doesn't make you feel stupid. At least for me, I can follow along so well. I can put myself in that position, and I feel like when a book is able to do that, it's just incredible, and I'm so excited to like finish it and see where it goes. I'm not going to do any spoilers, do not worry, but the pacing of the story currently halfway through is perfect. I don't think there's anything wrong with pacing wise. I'm just really enjoying this story, and I can see why a lot of people do enjoy this book. So yeah, and I also at this point think that maybe the trailer might be giving a little bit too much away, but it's incredible. The character development and the connections are so good. And yeah, I gotta get back to reading because I just love this story so much. Wow, and I'm not even finished yet. So yeah, I will check back in when I've finished the story. I've finished Project Hail Mary, a 5-star book. I absolutely loved this story so much. It is following Ryland, who wakes up as a lone astronaut on a failed mission, and basically it's like a last chance opportunity to save humanity from this extinction, really. He has no idea what the reasoning is for him, why he's there. It's up to him to save humanity at this point. So it's very dystopian, but it's full of heart and emotions, and him as a character is just so well developed throughout the story that you start to feel certain ways, like you feel so sorry for him and the whole mission. I didn't think the sciencey parts were a problem. Astrophage is mentioned a lot, and at first I was like, I have no idea what this is, and just reading a little bit more about that on Google, it's like 2 words like mushed together, so it just means like a star killer. So that's mentioned a lot in this book. So once I kind of knew that, you kind of understand. And I know that some people have said that that's a bit of an issue, but I didn't find it too much of an issue. Everything else was pretty easy to follow, and it felt so real. Like you can see yourself in that situation, because it is written in such an incredible way, and I really love when stories do that. And it just, for me, it's such a well-rounded story, and I am so excited to see what comes out of the movie after this. I do know I want to get my hands on a trophy copy now, because I have to send this back to the library and I need to own one myself. So because I feel like I may reread that, and I don't reread books often, but I could reread Project Hail Mary. At this point, is it worth me buying The Martian? Because I love this book so much. It's my first book by Andy Weir, so I might end up picking that up, because your girl is a sci-fi nerd now. I don't know. I read a sci-fi book last month, The Compound. That was pretty cool, but it was more dystopian, set in just Earth. And the other sci-fi book was called Sector 47. Yeah, Sector 47. And I loved that. That was a bit of like Star Wars sort of vibe. And this I absolutely loved. So your girl is turning into a sci-fi geek. I'm excited. I need more sci-fi recs at this point. But yeah, that is Project Hail Mary. No spoilers, just thoughts and vibes. I don't want to give too much away, but I do think that the trailer does give you a lot of the story, which is kind of sad, because a lot of this I was feeling certain emotions, and it made me laugh out loud sometimes, which was quite nice. So I'm not going to say too much more about why, because I don't want to give you any spoilers if you haven't read this book. But just know that I loved the direction that this went, and there were certain cool elements in the story, and yeah, it was such a fun read. I really enjoyed this book. Let me know what you thought of Project Hail Mary down below, and the next part of this video is going to be me going to the cinema, watching the movie, and telling you my thoughts after that. So at this point, I think I have like 3 weeks before it comes out, so there is some time, but I'm so excited to watch it now as well. So thank you at this point for watching. Do stick around because the movie portion's coming soon. Okay, please ignore these 2 shelves. As you can see, I'm still buying books to fill this up, But yes, it's kind of a mess, so please don't pay attention. Just, yeah, I'm still working on this. But I got a parcel like maybe last week at this point, and I didn't actually film my unboxing of this book for this video. You will have seen I read a library copy of Project Hail Mary, which I had to quickly give back to the library because of everybody wanting to read it due to the movie coming out. And I knew I never wanted to own the UK version because that cover is horrendous. I really do not like it. The hardback cover was actually pretty decent, but it's in paperback now, so I was never picking that up. So I had to get my hands on an American edition, and I'm so happy that it's finally here. This is so cool. I freaking love this cover. Everything about this book is amazing, so I really wanted to get my hands on a physical copy for a trophy and like a reread at some point. Also, why do our books in the UK never do this? The flop level, it's incredible. So yes, this is my own copy of Project Hail Mary. I do think this is going to be on my favorites from 2026. I'm calling it this early in March. Well, I read this in February, but we're now in March. But yes, I'm calling it now. This is not going to fall out of my top 10 books of 2026. Anyway, enough of me rambling. I have shown you my copy, and now it's time to watch the movie and then come back and give you my thoughts. So let's do that. Okay friends, so we are back. We are wrapping this up because I have finally watched Project Hail Mary and I have some thoughts to share with you. So, overall, the book was incredible. I was feeling so many emotions reading this book. I was giggling. I was like on the verge of tears. I loved the science element of this book and the sort of jumping back and forth between the time. Everything about this book was perfection. I loved my time reading it. I was also very intrigued to watch the movie. And oftentimes I feel like movies can take inspiration from the book and like go way off the beat on the actual story of the book. But Project Hail Mary was completely different. I freaking loved that movie so much. It basically followed the entire plot of the book, bit by bit. There didn't feel like, to me anyway, that there was anything truly missing from the book to movie adaptation. They are both so incredible. While we were watching the movie, I was feeling the same emotions that I felt when I was reading the book. And that to me just screams like it did justice to the book. Honestly, it was incredible. I loved how they portrayed Rocky. I loved that relationship, that friendship that they built. I love the back and forth, like finding out he's woken up from this coma to how he got there in the first place. I think timeline wise everything fit together. It wasn't too long, it wasn't short, nothing felt like it was missing. It was literally a perfect movie. It was such a 5-star movie for me. Ryan Gosling delivered so well in the role. I feel like nothing was missing in terms of his acting. He played the character of Grace so well. The whole practical element of it as well really felt real. The colours, the saturation, the planets, the sky, the stars, they really brought this whole thing together. The production was incredible, and like I said, the practical side of things, like the spaceship element, was incredible. It did make it feel so real. I loved it. Literally, that's all I need to say. So my friend who also read the book, we went together with our partners, and obviously us two, we knew the story and our partners didn't. One went in blind, one had watched the trailer, and everybody enjoyed it no matter how much exposure we had to the story or lack of exposure. Everybody enjoyed it. It was such a fun watch, and yeah, it made you feel all the emotions that you felt while reading the book. I would highly recommend watching the movie. Would I recommend watching the movie before reading it? I'm kind of torn, because for me, I always recommend reading the book. You get so much context from the book, whereas watching a movie, it's just there for you. So like, for me anyway, I loved how the communication was developing in the story between Grace and Rocky. And obviously we're in this, it talks about like taps were certain words, and there was a lot more time spent learning that, whereas the movie touched upon it for a little while, I would say. And also, if there was a word missing, it would just be added in at certain points of the story, so it wasn't like a good portion just learning communication, which isn't a bad thing for the movie. I think it was necessary. If you spent too long talking about that, you would kill time. And if there is like certain things that are in a book, they don't always translate well into a visual representation of the story. So certain things do have to change in that sense. But like I say, you do get a lot more context from a book. So I would always recommend reading the book. But there's no real preference between reading it first, watching it last, watching it first, or reading it last. I would recommend doing both anyway, but it is up to you in terms of how you would approach which one you would do first. But I highly recommend. I love the book and the movie, and I don't think I have many comparisons or criticisms about both. Like I say, this was like a perfect book, a 5-star book, but really for me, I would say this is a 6-star book. Like, it is up there with being one of my favorites of all time. So yeah, and I have given this movie a 5-star as well. So there's nothing more to say. I am freaking loving Project Hail Mary, and I think it's time I pick up The Martian, because if I loved this one so much, I need to check out more by Andy Weir. There is also a movie for The Martian, so I could do another one of these, but for The Martian. So I think that brings me to the end of this video, the Project Hail Mary book versus movie. It's not really a comparison at this point. I think they're both on par with each other, like I keep mentioning, but I absolutely loved doing this. I probably would I have picked this up myself if the movie wasn't coming out. It has been on my radar, but I'm not entirely sure. Nevertheless, I am so happy that I have read this. I want to keep showing this off because this is stunning. I'm so happy I read this, and now I've watched the movie. I will probably go back and watch it again at some point, but yeah, let me know your thoughts. Have you watched the movie yet? Well, hopefully this doesn't give you any spoilers or something. So let me know if you have watched the movie or read the book, what your thoughts are. I would love to know and have that conversation. I'm going to leave it there, and I guess until next time, keep your pages turning and embrace the darkness. Bye!